All right, everybody, so welcome back to another episode of Colton Posey Fishing. Today, I'm going to bring a bait to your attention that I believe is going to be extremely hot on the market. And one of the reasons that I'm bringing it to you right now is because we're fixing to get in that time. You're starting to see your grass up on your lake come up, and it's starting to stretch out. You know, you're getting further and further off the bank, just because the grass is starting to stretch out, and these fish are going to do that also. But as soon as we get through this real heavy post-spawn phase, you're going to start to notice these fish are really going to push up in there. And they do push up in there right now, especially during the shad spawn. We got the shad spawn going on right now, which is why this bait right here is so detrimental to using it right now. So either way, let's talk about it and stay tuned. This is something you don't want to miss. Alright guys, so before we jump into anything, make sure if the video helps you at all, or you like this kind of content, to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also comment down below if you have any questions or you just want to talk fishing. I love hearing from you guys. It's a great way to help support the channel all three ways. But either way, let's jump into the bait. So right now you should be seeing a lot of grass starting to come up on your main lake, okay? I know in like the deeper herring lakes and stuff that have grass, like Lewis Smith up here, it's you're starting to see a lot of that grass up on the points, okay? And then fishing another lake that I fish where I'm at today, you're seeing a lot of grass come up and a lot of grass stretch out off of the bank. You know, whether that's you'll see some that's a few feet, and then you'll see some that's all the way, like, you know, 10-12 feet off the bank, especially on those shallow flats where that grass typically likes to grow. But one of the biggest things that we got going on right now is the shad spawn, okay? So, you know, we've got the post spawn happening, and then we also got the shad spawn. And the shad spawn is a great way to catch a ton of fish. One of the biggest things about the shad spawn is you got to be at the lake super early, or days like today, super cloudy. That shad spawn can be delayed. The end time of that shad spawn can be delayed, and it can last all the way up to the middle of the day. So, you know, this is a great time to be on the water and use this bait. And there's a typically, you know, during the shad spawn, you hear all about swim jigs and you hear all about spinner baits, and that's typically what you hear from me is spinner bait, because I absolutely love catching fish on a spinner bait that way. It's just a wonderful bite. But the biggest thing is I'm a swim bait fisherman also. I love catching fish on a swim bait because typically if I can't get the fish to bite on a spinner bait, I can get them to bite on a swim bait. And I love both bites, both of those reaction bites. Well, there's a company that kind of did both. So check this bait out. So this is a bait made by Flatlands Custom Tackle, okay? And what this bait is, it's basically a spinner bait. Check this out. So it's basically a spinner bait, okay? But it's got that weighted swim bait hook and stuff on it. And, you know, I've showed a couple people this, and one of my friends saw this and he was like, well, dude, you run a spinner bait all the time without a skirt on it and you put a swim bait on it. And I was like, yeah, I know, but this is completely different. I showed him why, and this is why. See that split ring that's right there? It allows this swim bait to move freely in the wire. So what happens is, as this bait comes through the water, it actually shimmies real hard and it kind of wanders left and right. So it's got a real wild, different action to it. And this bait is just nuts during the shad spawn. One of the biggest things that I see about it also is you can get a lot of speed behind that spinner bait without it burning out, okay? Since that weight's so down low, and then you put that swim bait on the back of it, which creates resistance, as you're reeling that bait and it's shimmying and stuff, that split ring allows that swim bait to move freely but not turn the blades over to where, you know, you're not burning out that spinner bait once again. And obviously, I mean, if you wanted to, you can swap the blades out on them yourself if you wanted to. I run it straight out of the pack, put a 3.75 inch Rage swimmer on it, and I absolutely love it. But we're really fixing to start getting into a time where spinner baits and stuff is going to play a huge key, and I kind of wanted to keep that bait a hush-hush and really use it through the shad spawn before I brought it up. But in either case, I kind of wanted to bring it to you guys, and that way, you know, you can enjoy it as much as I have during this time of year. And as we move forward, I think it's going to be a big detrimental player during the summer as those fish move out to the summer haunts and they're, you know, cruising around on these points and stuff, staying close to the surface of the water, because because you can, like I said, you can move that bait extremely fast, and that's one of the key things that I want out of most of my spinner baits that I run from this point forward. I want to be able to move that bait quickly without it turning over. When it starts turning over and stuff, that's when you start getting into trouble, and Flatlands has done that with that specific swim bait, spinner bait hybrid. I don't know exactly what you want to call it, but either way, you can get that bait on VantageTackle.com. You can use my code Colton25 and you'll get 10% off your entire purchase, and it's a never-ending code, so stick that in the back of your pocketbook, and anytime you want to place an order, you save 10%, and it helps this channel out a ton, helps those guys out a ton, lets them know that you're watching my content and then I send them to you. But either case, throwing a rage swimmer, a mayor, anything like that is going to play a big key this time of year, I believe, on this spinner bait, especially with the shad spawn going on right now. You can actually skip that bait. It's not super easy to skip the bait, but you can skip that bait, especially if it's slick calm. I wouldn't do it on a day necessarily like today if there's a little bit of chop on the water and stuff, but it's got so many different features that you can use it for that I really like. You could probably put a crawl on the back of it, crawl it down bluff walls and stuff like that. So either way, if any of you purchase it, use it and let me know what you think about it, because I absolutely love it. And either way, guys, if the video helps you at all, make sure to hit that thumbs up. It's a great way to help this channel grow. Also, subscribe down below. I got you covered when it comes to anything bass fishing, and comment if you have any questions about bass fishing, this bait, whatever the case may be, or you just want to talk fishing. I love hearing from you guys. I'll see you next time.